Welcome to our Have Fun, Have a Go range. I'm Neil Whittaker from Design Element Flowers in Earlham, Manchester, and today we're going to create quite a striking and stunning table centre by using some of these amazing products. So in this next stage of the design, we're now going to use the nailer base wreath and the felts. The most important thing is when you are actually using a wreath with floral foam is to make sure that you soak the actual design first of all. Make sure that you put some floral food in, which helps your design last longer. Now the most important thing when we're creating a design like this is, as you can see here, we've got a little V, and I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to go in there and we're going to take those sections out. So what this leaves is a little water well, so you're able to water your design through the Christmas period and help it last longer. To start to work with our felts, and our first section, this is approximately 15 centimetres and we need to work to approximately 9 centimetres out, and then we're going to cut this across like so. And then taking a darker felt, we're going to use at least 5 centimetres in from the 15 centimetres and gently cut. So these actually would sit on top of each other, and now we can cut those in the middle. So now we've cut the felt in half. I'm going to turn the felt around, and as you can see, this just gently sits in and gives you a little bit of leeway either side of the design. Now we can gently fold over, and where this point is here, we're now going to take the diamante pin through the centre, and this will hold that little jacket together, ready to go around the outside of the design. A small amount of floral adhesive just on that lip of the nailer base. This is just going to help to hold the mechanics together, and we're now going to take the wool and I'm going to use this at the back. I'm going to take this all the way round, and immediately this is already covering around the outside of the design. So once we've gone around the outside, we're going to repeat that process on the inside. This way we're actually creating a nice finish to the design with all the mechanics. So we're hiding all those areas nice and neatly with the same wool, again keeping the seam at one side. So now we have this nice neat finish inside and out, and we've already covered around the mechanics. So now we're ready to start to add our little tiny jackets. So what we're going to do is, for safety where children are concerned, a small amount of glue on the pin and a small amount of glue on the back. So this now allows us to pin in to the outside of the design. So I'll repeat that process one more time. So a small amount of glue underneath the pin to hold in place, little piece on the back. So to make sure that everything is secure when you're making up these like little coats, you can put a little tiny bit of cold glue that holds them in place, then another dab either side. So this, when you're folding over, is going to catch. Then we take another small dab of glue on the centre, and then we take the diamante pin through, and again another dab of glue at the back. So this allows us then to place into our design and glue around the outside. So I've repeated the process here. I'm just going to make sure that these are now glued together again. So this is the final coat going around the outside of the design. So there we have quite a stunning look from the top and the side. So here we have a block of floral foam. It could be a block of dry foam if you wish. It really is up to you. This will stay dry anyway, so if this is all you've got at hand, that's fine. If you've got dry, you can use dry. First of all, we're going to create trees. So we're going to cut this piece to get 2 trees out of, right the way down the middle. So now we've got our first piece, and taking the knife, we're going to go in and curve down that centre place. So now we can turn it, and we do the same again. Always trying to, like so. So what this creates is like a little tree. So now we're going to cover the little trees. So we're going to take some of the cold glue down the bottom and around the top, and then just down the middle, just to make sure you've got enough glue on there. We're now going to take a piece of the felt, and we're going to take the felt right to the edge, like so, and gently trim. I'm just leaving it a little bit longer because I've got to remember that when I push that in, there's a little bit of a curve, so it will just sort of go in slightly. And now gently trim away that excess felt. Like so. And all the mechanics are nice and tidy. So now we have a nice little two-tone effect. So we're just going to add a small square on top. Just to hide those mechanics. We are now going to use a small cane, and I'm going to put a small amount of glue on the bottom. This will then take it into the centre of the design, and I can gently tease that up to give strength through the centre of the piece. So now I've cut my felt in half, and I'm going to just take a little nick out of the bottom, and the same on the other, like so. So we've got these two little loops. This means I can now place some cold glue on the bottom, and with that nick it just goes around the outside, and on the other, like so, and then we can gently trim away any excess centre of the felt and just add a little bit of glitter, turn it over and repeat on the other side. So now we've covered the stem and we've added the glitter. We're now just going to take the twine around to add an extra texture to the tree. To pin just little loops, using the small pins to add interest. I'm now going to take one of the diamante pins in the centre, adds a little bit of interest, and then we can then take some of the little pearl-headed pins down the created one next size, which is a full length piece of the Oasis, and then we go to the larger tree where I've left it a little bit plainer. So this is the full length of the Oasis, then I've added an extra block at the bottom and carried on chamfering. So this now creates this wonderful collection of trees for our design arrangement. I've already placed the odd few holes in, so I'm aware of where items may go and look at their best. So now I've got my first piece, which gently goes into my floral foam. My next piece that's a little bit taller. So this is giving height and depth to the design. And then one to bring interest to the front of the design. This one will just sit gently at the front. So now we've got here a wonderful piece of contorted willow which has got lots of movement to it, which I can gently just start to place to one side of the design, which is creating interest around the trees. Now inside we want to just add a little bit more texture, so I'm going to take some more of the diamante pins and some of this like candy cane wool in the lime green and white, and I'm going to just gently tease this into the design. And this is an easy way of hiding mechanics, just adding that little bit of wispy feel into the piece. So just to finish the base of the design and texture and add that Christmas feel, we're just going to add some Christmas baubles. So we've got some nice glittered baubles, some matte and some shiny. So these are going to add that extra interest. They've already been added to a stick, which allows me to easily place into the design. Work down to this base here, uniting those little pieces of foliage together. So it's just taking that nice little piece to the back to give depth, to pull your eye back to the design. And now we've more or less covered all our floral foam, and I'm just going to add in just a small piece of holly just to add that texture, interest, and something that's a little bit shinier. We're going to start to create our design, and we're using these wonderful little anthuriums to create that nice interest through the piece. So we're clustering these nice and tightly together through one area of the design. This will also allow me to be able to work nice and tall and keep it nice and slim through the design. So these beautiful little white roses really do create a lot of interest. With the little gemini, I'm going to take a gemini that sits nice and flat at the front, just finding the Oasis, so this sits nice and flat. And then we're going to take a couple at the back of the design and taking one nice and low to create that interest. A little higher to this side, and there we have a stunning Christmas table arrangement made with some beautiful textures, from the beautiful Lena felts through to the purple anthuriums and mini gerbras, giving you this beautiful collection of texture.